Hello everybody, this is Jeremy Untitled Chapter. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at AudioThing's Mantis. This is a really cool Bucket Brigade style delay plugin, and I have to say I love this thing. It has a very simple layout. You have your delay times right here, and you can set them by simply just sliding up and down. And we have two different modes. The original mode was actually at a fixed delay time if I read correctly on the manual, meaning that you actually weren't able to get it to sound different in certain situations. It just always kind of sounded the same. And the way you change your timing was by using the echo taps, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're placed differently or farther away from the original chain, giving them a slightly more or less delay. Now, since this is a plugin, we're able to change this from 0.51 milliseconds all the way to 51.2 milliseconds. But if we switch it to modern mode, which is not available in the original unit that this is modeled after, this can go up to 1000 milliseconds and as low as 1 millisecond, as well as keeping a really cool timing option. So you can do one whole notes, triplets, quarter notes, triplets, eighth notes, dotted notes, whatever, right? You're able to have this fit in time with your song. Now, next we have the slew time. I did not find anything about this on the manual. And from what I'm probably guessing, this is probably affecting either the timing variance between the left and the right side or between each echo tap. We'll find out maybe when the manual gets updated. Dark factor is really cool because this is simulating the low end buildup or the high end loss from Bucket Brigade tapes. They're very muddy, they're very dark, and they sound so cool because of it. Well, with this, you can actually really fine tune it. You can make it so it doesn't really dampen the high end at all, or you can make it so it really dampens it and gets a really dark, muddy tone. The noise section allows you to have hiss and noise. You can have this follow the envelope. And then you have aliasing, which will have aliasing from the original unit. So if you drive the unit, you can get a little bit of artifacts intentionally, because one cool thing about AudioThing is they love artifacts and they love defects. So you can get some really cool effects from that. Now, another cool thing is instead of just being stuck with mono, they have a mono to stereo mode, which will set the delay to be left and right stereo, giving you a nice wide stereo image. The send section is pretty interesting because it's essentially feeding the delay or the reverberation or swelling of the delay. So if you turn it off, it actually stops being fed the delay, and it's only whatever is in the buffer or the tank of the actual unit at the time. Now on the top, of course, we have our AudioThing setups. We can do our presets. We can save, delete, and do randomize. We have the bell to tell us if there is an update. We also have the high quality mode, soft clipping, clearing the buffer, window sizing, everything you need, all right there, really easy to use. Now, these sliders and these buttons are pretty easy to understand. Each one of them correlates with either adding a tap of the delay unit or adding a tap of the feedback swell. So you can have as many as one or all the way to all four. You can even have none of them set up. The rotophase is this unit's way of simulating the wobble of a tape machine. So you have the speed and the depth, basically how often is it going to wobble in chorus and change its pitch variance, and how long it's going to do it for. Personally, I have the speed set to really low and a really high depth because I find that that gives you a really nice unique tone where some of the delays later on in the track actually have more of a pitching kind of tone, while the ones in the beginning had a lot less of it. It's a really cool way of getting a unique flavor that you might not even notice in the mix, but you can obviously dial it up to taste. The dry knob, that's the input of the dry signal, which will feed the input and output so you can actually drive the signal to get some distortion. Echo, it's your delay. It's how much delay you want back. And tone is your overall EQ tone, darker or brighter. Swell is basically your feedback knob. It's going to use the swell control to actually add the taps to drive the swell or the echoes back into the unit's echoing section, and it basically has a really cool and unique swelling effect. Input is your input for the unit, and then output is your output volume, so you can actually drive this thing into nice crazy aliasing distortion or nice clean, I wouldn't even say clean, but a nice non-distorted tone. Let's start off by just doing an initial preset. I'll have everything bypassed, and then I'll slowly turn things on, and then we'll use Mantis to get a really nice like vintage swelling effect. So here it is with nothing. And in the track, it really doesn't sound special. Right? Kind of boring. So I have console 1. This is just being used as a DAW controller. As you see, nothing's going on. I have this modulation plugin right here. It's just a Dimension D. I have a tape saturation plugin. And the reason why I didn't use the AudioThing one is because I wanted one that doesn't have a degraded signal yet, because I want to get that degraded signal from Mantis. And then my last plugin in the chain is just my Kirchhoff EQ, rolling off some low end, getting rid of some unwanted mud in the mid range. So now this is what we have. I want this to have a bigger sound. I want this to swell and I want this to have the vintage tone. So we're going to turn on Mantis and let's just listen to how it sounds. That's just it set in mono. Let's set it to stereo. So I like that echo, but notice that when I stop it, it just stops. So we need swell. Let's add lots of swell. All right. And then we're going to increase the swell. So we can make it really dark or bright. Let's add the rotophase. And let's bypass it. That's really cool. It just brought it to life. It's really wide in stereo. I love setting up the speed for the rotophase to be really slow, or in this case, kind of a medium slow, and then a high depth. The dry signal is nice and clean. The tone is getting a little bit brighter while having a lot of echo and a lot of swell. Let's check this out in the track. Bypassed.
I see it.
Yeah, just listening to that, you get a real sense of depth, sense of life. It's a very vintage, lively tone, and I think that's what AudioThing really is famous for at this point. I remember my first plugin review that I ever did on them, I think was like Space Strip or something, or their vinyl one. Very vintage, very colorful. Actually, I think I did Space Strip for a Plugin Boutique video. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But I absolutely love this plugin, especially on guitars. I played guitar for like 10, 12 years. And I find that this is a great plugin to give guitars or vocals a really nice sense of depth. I don't really use them on much else, but I could definitely see this being very, very useful for some type of synthesized keys or other percussive elements. But in this case, I think it's perfect on guitar. And just for the sake of doing it, let's listen to modern. Notice how modern has a completely different tone. It's because modern is modern. You get longer delays. I personally like vintage better because you get these short stacked taps where they're just echoing and reverberating into each other, and they sound good that way. So for me, I go for vintage. But for those of you who want a lot of control, set it to modern and dial it into taste. That sounds fantastic. Well, this to me sounds a little bit darker. Both are great, but I like the vintage tone because it reminds me of a guitar pedal. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I kind of made this one quick and to the point because this is such an easy plugin to understand. I really like this thing and I'm going to use it a ton. This is Jeremy with In the DAW. I will see you guys next time. Bye.